And tonight in Joy News Prime, 3 persons shot in the OT region following a clash between the Cocoa Board Task Force and some farmers over the sale of cocoa beans.
I went back to the place and I said, no, the cocoa is in the house. They didn't send the cocoa anywhere. So they should release the boy. We'll bring the cocoa. And they said, no, we should bring the cocoa before the boy will be released.
We'll talk to officials of Cocoa Board on this burning issue. Again, what is your business as debt distress company to be donating to the police? Minority in Parliament takes on ECG over a donation of 200 motorbikes to the Ghana Police Service.
With this particular donation, ECG has no business taking over the responsibility of the state to provide logistics for Ghana Police.
And it is not we that will change the fortunes of Ghana. Minority Chief Whip fight ally of cannabis law brought back to Parliament, warning it will be abused.
Why are we pretending that this is going to solve our problem? Minister, do you even know how many people in this country are smoking weed illegally? Why from this thing that weed is coming to save our economy?
Also, some residents in Accra say it is now expensive to die.
If God willing and nobody can help you or to support to do the burial for this government we are in by this time there to bury is very hard.
In gunshot wound following a near clash with Cocoa Board Task Force and some cocoa farmers following a misunderstanding over the sale of cocoa beans at Ahamanso Junction in the OT region. The gunshot was said to have come from one of the security operatives, most of whom wore national security branded vests at the Ahamanso barrier. Correspondent Peter Seno has more.
The near clash, which happened at about 10 a.m. on Wednesday, 13th December 2023, was as a result of this shooting incident at Ahamanso Junction. Three persons were hit in this incident. According to Joy News sources, the disagreement, which started early Wednesday morning, was about a farmer carting his cocoa beans from the farm to the house and was suspected to be smuggling it to neighboring country Togo. Adamu Muhammad is a relation and a witness to what happened.
The national security operative want to convey the cocoa away. And I said, like how? How will somebody keep a cocoa in the house and you would like to take it away? And they are saying that the people will not send the cocoa to the shed. So they want to take it to the shed. And I said, if that's the issue, they should inform them that they should take it to the shed instead of this brouhaha around the town. So I picked one of the WOs and we both went to the shed. Then we put the cocoa on a motorbike to the shed. When we got to the shed was not open. There was nobody there. That was around 9:30 a.m. There was nobody there. So we were there until it was about 10 a.m. Nobody was there. So I asked the WO that we should go and find where the buyer lives so that we'll come and scale the cocoa and go away. So we were on that track looking for the buyer's number, and the boy said they have a lot to do. They will be going to work. Some are going to the farm, so they cannot go. They will go and keep the cocoa in the house. When the buyer comes, then they will come and scale the cocoa. So the boys left. So we both left back to the town. We were there and we heard one guy among the boys was arrested. That where did they keep the cocoa? So I went back to the place and I said, no, the cocoa is in the house. They didn't send the cocoa anywhere. So they should release the boy. We'll bring the cocoa. And they said, no, we should bring the cocoa before the boy will be released. So I went to the house and I picked the cocoa to the officers. Then I don't know what actually happened. So I turned myself. I thought they would just release the boy. So before I came back, I realized that they are dragging on their boy. All of a sudden, one of them gave a warning shot three times. Then their boss asked them that they should withdraw the guns. They should bring back the guns. So they took the guns back, and one of them removed a gun from his pocket, put in bullets, and started shooting at the guys. So the guy that was arrested was handcuffed, and he decided to shoot the guys back and shoot another boy's leg. And the boy that he shot at the leg, he doesn't even know anything about it.
We also followed up to check on the victims at the St. Mary Teresa Hospital at Papasi. 2 persons were on admission when I arrived. One of the victims, who sustained minor pellet injury at the back, was treated and discharged. Dr. David Amankwa is the principal medical officer at the St. Mary Teresa Hospital at Papasi in the KGB district.
Yesterday, around 11:30 a.m., we received 3 patients that were rushed to our emergency as case of suspected gunshots from the Ahamanso Junction. When they came, they were ill, so the emergency team started stabilizing the patient. As at now, they are stable. One of them, who is around 36 years, received a gunshot wound to the right lower limb, and after investigating further, the pellets are there, which confirmed that indeed it was a gunshot wound, and he has a fracture as well of the tibia, which as at now we are making arrangements to refer to Whole Teaching Hospital for the orthopedic surgeon to see. The other 2, actually one of them was even discharged. He was very, very stable. And the one who is also on the ward, which we can manage here, has some lacerations which we have sutured. For him, the x-ray did not show any pellets inside. So for now, I'll say they are stable, though one needs referral to see a specialist.
One of the family members, I was later told, was carrying one of the pellets in his buttocks, vowed to hit back at the perpetrator. The task force, Joy News can confirm, has been around the barrier for over a month now. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Head of Public Affairs at the Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, joins us via Zoom now with more. Fifi, grateful for joining us. What do you also know of this particular incident?
Well, thanks for the opportunity. The information, as we've been briefed, is that for some time now, we've been experiencing serious smuggling issue along the borders, and a task force has been stationed at the borders. Just to put it in proper perspective, if you consider the cocoa season that opened September this year, as we speak, the entire Volta region, which includes Volta and Oti region, cocoa purchases from the entire these 2 regions amount to less than 70 bags. A clear indication of the extent of the smuggling at that corridor. Indeed, there have been some arrests that go to the extent of moving from other regions using the border as the exit point of smuggling the cocoa out of our country. So the task force have been there ensuring that they are able to deal with this illegal activity that is being undertaken by such persons at the border. And the Ahamanso Junction is one area identified as a key exit point by the smugglers. So they've been there. The information is that for some time now, there have been some provocations from some youth who are involved in this activity. And what they've been doing is to get a reaction from the task force, who we are told have tried as much as possible not to engage them.
Okay.
Yesterday, the information is that these persons, they saw one who had sacks of cocoa cross the border, so they followed him and arrested the person.
Okay.
So immediately the arrest was made. There were about 20 young men who they describe as hooligans, wielding machetes and sticks, seeking to attack the task force So they had the intervention of the police coming in. And the understanding at the time was that they moved the cocoa to a shed. That's where
So that is what brought about the scuffle. How is Cocoa
Yes.
Board handling this to ensure that innocent Ghanaians are not harmed in any way as we try to ensure that we protect our cocoa?
The interest of Cocoa Board is not to get into any scuffle of assault. The interest of Cocoa Board is to ensure that as the law mandates us to protect cocoa produced in Ghana and sold for and on behalf of the state, that's what we do. And we find people who are engaged in an illegal act, the responsibility of Cocoa Board is to ensure that that illegality does not continue. That's why you have the task force, the national security operatives, and the security agencies helping in dealing with this situation. This is what they have done. Unfortunately, the reports as we've received is that you have these young men who are involved or who support this activity seeking to mass up their numbers as a way of overpowering the security personnel who are seeking to prevent them from engaging the illegal activity. The information has been passed on to Cocoa Board. We've escalated it to their superiors. I'm referring to the security agencies. Of course, as Cocoa Board, we are not a security organization. Our interest is to get the cocoa protected. So we are speaking to the security agencies who we believe have the capacity and the mandate to help us in addressing the situation such that it does not escalate, but rather we protect the cocoa from getting into the hands of these smugglers.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us here. Fifi Boafo speaks for the Cocoa Board. Now, the minority is taking on the Electricity Company of Ghana for donating 200 motorbikes to the Ghana Police Service. The NDC MP say they cannot fathom why a debt-ridden institution like the ECG will be seeking to take over the responsibilities of the state when they cannot even pay their debt to IPPs to keep the lights on. More of that shortly, but Joy News sources say the debt owed power-producing companies is gradually grinding the sector to a collapse. Some affected companies, including state-owned entities, are contemplating shutting down. Let's share with you what we do know so far. Now, we know that ECG owes GMPC more than $30 million, VRA more than $30 million, Ghana Gas more than $50 million. The company owes Gridco more than $20 million and IPPs over $60 million. Now, Joy News has learned that VRA now sells power to Togo and Benin to help them stay afloat. We understand this is the reason why we've been experiencing some power outages in some communities lately. Ghana Gas, VRA and Gridco, all of these being state-owned entities, we understand cannot pay their vendors, and this is gradually crippling the operations of these companies. These three are in deep crisis, and in their own words, this is unprecedented. Now, are we likely to experience doomsday anytime soon? Joy News sources say next year, Ghana Gas may not be able to pay Tallow for the raw gas they provide them because they won't have money to do so if ECG continues not to pay them. Now, if Tallow decides to cut the gas supply to Ghana Gas, there will definitely be shortfalls in power generation. If that happens, ECG will have less power to supply to consumers like you and I, and this will result in power outages. Now, the minority say they cannot fathom why a debt-ridden institution like ECG will be seeking to take over a responsibility that the state must bear when they cannot even pay their debt to IPPs to keep the lights on. According to former Power Minister and member of Mines and the Energy Committee of Parliament, Dr. Kwamina Donko, ECG's conduct is the height of irresponsibility.
With shock yesterday that the Electricity Company of Ghana had donated 200 motorbikes to Ghana Police Service. Ordinarily, any such donation would have attracted my applause. But with this particular donation, ECG has no business taking over the responsibility of the state to provide logistics for Ghana Police. ECG is in debt to the tune of billions of cedis. Indeed, 2 weeks ago, the Minister for Finance had to intervene to stop Seno Asogli shutting down because of ECG's indebtedness to IPPs. For an entity that cannot pay its debtors, they have no business donating motorbikes to Ghana Police. It is the height of irresponsibility on the management of ECG to go donating motorbikes when they cannot pay their bills, when they owe so much, when the Minister of Finance had to step in to bail this country out of load shedding, because Sona Asogli's 560 megawatts would have thrown the country into load shedding.
He wants an investigation into this, claiming there could be corruption somewhere.
It is high time that managements of state entities, especially commercial state entities, take responsibility for their commerciality. If Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority had done the donation, I would have had no qualms with it because they are profitable. But for a loss-making state entity that is throwing the future and security of this country into danger because of their indebtedness, to go donating 200 motorbikes is the height of irresponsibility. And I call on the ministers for energy and the minister for public enterprises to call the ECG management to book. They should call them and whip them into line. Indeed, this donation must be investigated. It is not in the national interest, and it will be surprising if it is not procurement driven. I am extremely disappointed as a former Minister of Power, as a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, and representing the good people of Ghana in this House.
Now we have a response from the Electricity Company of Ghana. Let's share that with you. ECG says, quote, management stands by the decision to donate the motorbikes because this is a corporate social investment towards the partnership between the police and them. The police has been helping us over the years in our revenue mobilization drive and arresting culprits of illegal connections. This is by way of showing appreciation and to assist them, that's the police, to continue offering to us their support, as well as the good people of the country. They say, we welcome all investigations of corruption. That's the response coming in from the Electricity Company of Ghana. Now, Minority Chief Whip Govins Kwame Agboja is warning that the Narcotics Control Commission law passed by Parliament will be abused. Today, an LI laid by government through the Interior Minister, which will actualize the law passed to legalize the use of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purpose. We'll hear from Govins Kwame Agboja shortly, but first, listen to Chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, Dr. Dominic Ayine, reiterates that Parliament has not passed a law to legalize cannabis for recreational purposes.
Without lawful authority, proof of which lies on that person, has possession or control of a narcotic drug for use or for trafficking commits an offense. And Mr. Speaker, it goes on to say that a person who commits an offense in subsection 1 for use is liable on summary conviction to a fine imposed in accordance with the penalties specified in the second schedule, and an additional term of imprisonment specified in the second schedule if the fine is not paid. So, Mr. Speaker, this puts it beyond doubt that Parliament has not legalized cannabis for recreational purposes, and that anybody caught using cannabis for recreational purposes on the belief that it has been legalized will only be putting themselves into trouble. Mr. Speaker, in the circumstances, your committee has recommended that the legislative instrument be allowed to pass in accordance with Article 11(7)(a) of the Constitution after the mandatory 21 sitting days have elapsed. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
But Govins Kwame Agboja says this law will certainly be abused, and it is not, quote, we that will change the fortunes of the country.
Mr. Speaker, but I think the way we speak about this is a bit problematic. Mr. Speaker, I heard colleagues make reference to even Zimbabwe. Mr. Speaker, just last month, let me remind them, the Herald of Zimbabwe. My colleague Dapameko just talked about how efficient and protected the system is. The Herald of Zimbabwe said last year only 2,500 tons of wheat or the product was exported legally. Over 300,000 tons was exported illegally. Where is the control you are talking about there? So this idea that we are doing this and it's going to be under a certain control, Mr. Speaker, I keep asking them, look, the ranking talked about HTC. Unfortunately, the young man abusing weed in this country is not going to take whatever he got to a laboratory to test the HTC content before he smokes and THC. And none of you is ever talking about the potential of abuse and how that can degenerate into mental health problem we already have in this country. Why are we pretending that this is going to solve our problem? Minister, do you even know how many people in this country are smoking weed illegally? Even electricity that the sources we produce are known. We are unable to police the amount of electricity we produce in this country. You are now talking about giving license to people to produce weed. In fact, Mr. Speaker, whilst I don't have the potential of stopping this, Mr. Speaker, the fact is that Ghana is blessed enough with gold, diamond, everything. In fact, just recently we passed e-levy. None of this is able to save our country. In any case, do you know how much Zimbabwe earned? The highest they've earned, $130 million. So is this the reason we are coming to expose ourselves even to much risk? Why from this thing that we is coming to save our economy?
The new Vice Chair of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Sarah Adjoasafo, disagrees.
So we're not talking about just a leaf in someone's backyard. We're talking about a whole industry that is being created. And if we have our fertile land here and we can grow and make sure that the right framework is in place, Mr. Speaker, I don't see why we can't take advantage of it. And for that purpose, I would want to support the motion that is on the floor. We have taken that big step, which is passing the parent law. And an LI is only a subsidiary legislation that is complementing it. And it is nothing, it's not going to depart from the framework, the legal framework already set out in the parent law. Mr. Speaker, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, if you look on page 9 of the report, indicates that the global market for cannabis could hit, meaning it's a projection on their part, could hit USD 28.47 billion. Mr. Speaker, this is the market we're looking at. And how can Ghana place itself on that international market when we have all it takes in terms of fertility of our land, in terms of having labor available on our farms, to take a bite of this projection that the United Nations has made when it comes to cannabis? Mr. Speaker, we need to diversify our economy. We have to move away from the traditional sources of income or foreign earnings for this country, being gold, being cocoa. This is the time that there's a revolution globally. And so we need to take advantage of that and diversify our economy and get the needed foreign exchange to balance our payments or balance sheet.
This is still Joy News Prime. Up still to come here. Some residents in Accra say it is now expensive to die.
God willing, and nobody can help you or to support to do the burial. For this government we are in by this time there to bury. It's very hard.
Welcome back from the break. Now, Member of Parliament for Madina, Francis Xavier Sosu, has introduced in Parliament a new private members bill which will allow for a 2-day holidays each for Muslims, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Currently, Muslims have only a day to celebrate those festive occasions. Francis Xavier Sosu says this proposal is justified.
Currently, we have 13 holidays. If we are able to do that, what it means is that we can actually cut our holidays down to around 9, because there wouldn't be the need for you to change holidays. If it falls on Saturday, you mark it. If it falls on Sunday, you mark it. And so that gives us a room to allow for additional 2 days holidays that can be used as Islamic holidays, just to bring more equity, religious diversity into the country. Because when you look at the mandatory 40 days, Ramadan, it puts a lot of stress, health stress on persons of Islamic faith, both young and old. And right after the end of that, we have the Eid al-Fitr, and then the following day they have to go back to work. In fact, that affects, a number of them. And that is why if you have a proposal that allows for a day before the Eid to be a holiday, and then the Eid also being a holiday, it gives them enough time to rest, to recuperate, so they can go back to work, and be more effective in their workplaces. In the same way, if you look at the Eid Adha, in fact, by Islamic laws or by the Holy Quran, should be celebrated for like 3 days. So if you go to other countries, they have like 6 days, 16 days for some of these. But of course, Ghana is a secular state, but we have a lot of respect for religious diversity. And so in respecting that space, it will be good to add 1 more day, so that there are 2 days. You have 1 day for prayer, you have 1 day to do your sacrifices, and that actually generally help promote religious diversity and inclusiveness in Ghana. And so that is the essence of the proposal.
Now, he's also making swearing proposals to the existing Holidays Act, including moving holidays which fall between Tuesday and Thursday to Friday.
And everyone in Ghana has been worried about the amount of powers that the president has under our constitution. And we've all been trying to see whether we can do something about that. And that is why many people call for constitutional review. Thankfully, this power is not under the constitution. It's a power conferred by a statute. And once it's a power conferred by the Holidays Act, it can be amended. It's not an entrenched provision. So the proposal is in the right place, because when you look at that provision under the existing Holidays Act, it is a provision that is always referred to anytime holidays are changed from weekends to like Mondays. So a holiday falls on Saturday, you are moving it to Monday. Why? Holiday falls on Sunday, you want to move it to Monday. Why? You see, so that practice is what makes us lose a lot of productive days in holidays. And once we prevent that practice, it allows us room to introduce opportunities like these holidays for like Islamic populations, such that, they can also feel belonged and they can feel more participating within the Ghanaian community. So I think that the proposal is in the right direction, it's a right proposal, and it promotes religious inclusiveness. It's something that has been on the banner for some time now.
The flag bearer for the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, says he will support housing schemes for teachers if voted into power. He says this is to enable teachers to access proper accommodation upon retirement. Other professions with similar housing schemes will also receive support. He spoke at a town hall meeting in Nsawera in the Western North region.
Housing policy, and also a idea yasumuye. If we say Oshe Yabra Bomua, baby, I did the Tibeto and no and a yo how can say Emma Obia.
The government is concerned about the housing policy. Where to lay your head is important. Someone can retire after about 30 years of teaching and has still no place to lay his head. His money as a pensioner will not be sufficient to rent a place.
Into my housing scheme, no government be come when you are shemukina. Senebeya a bedroom say call retirement. Na udansi ho. Baby a opesi esi dan no ma so obechire say you kroma yebesi wo ho senebeya call retirement ado akotena wade mu. Say baby a wo ye adwuma and also yebetimi esi wo ho amamu.
The NDC government will join you to strengthen the housing scheme so that after retirement, you have a place to sleep. You will also indicate where you want the building to be, and we will build it for you. What I am saying is that government will join you to strengthen the current housing scheme you have so that it expands and benefits all. We will calculate the cost in cities so that we don't make an excuse of price inflation when the dollar appreciates. I know there will be a decline in inflation. So if there is a decline to 5%, you pay 5%.
Now, at the rate of inflation, meaning say inflation beba from. Into inflation beba from now a 5%, 5% and I will bet you.
Now, the Supreme Court, in a landmark ruling, says its judgment on some 72,000 acres of land that affect about 70 communities in some parts of Accra should not open the floodgate for attempt to recover possession and trigger demolition orders. This follows a decision of the court that the Numo Mashi family of Teshi could not claim ownership of the affected land because of the Court of Appeal's decision in 1982, which declared them owners of the piece of land, was based on fraudulent information presented to the court. The Supreme Court has thus directed the Land Commission to expunge all registration and certificate issued to the Numo Mashi family of Teshi and the Tete Ole Wolon family in respect to the 72,000 acres occupied by 72 communities. Legal Affairs correspondent Richard Kwajo Nyako has details of the judgment and joins me in via Zoom with more. Kwajo, what's the background to this judgment?
Well, so Brace, the matter started or dated back to 1966, following a compulsory acquisition by the state of 25 acres of land on the Ajankote Hill. And this led to several compensation claims by different groups of people. So following that, the State Lands Tribunal declared the chief of Brekusu as being entitled to compensation against the Numo Mashi family and the Dowuna family of Osu. So the Numo Mashi family then challenged the decision of the court to appeal in 1982, that is in December. And so it's been 40 years and there's been back and forth in the court until it surfaced in the Supreme Court.
This is huge. Now, when the court says such tenant should, reopen negotiations with the rightful owners, what does it really mean?
Well, so Kojo, when they say that they should atone tenancy, it only means that they need to regularize their tenancy with the appropriate families. The judgment says possess the right title, and so they need to recognize them as such. When it happens like that, it is the custody services they perform, in which case they need to see them as the rightful owners of the particular piece of land that the judgment talks about. So I have been making my checks at the Lands Commission, and the indication is that when such a judgment comes like that, the people that were victorious in the suit, they formally apply to the Lands Commission, and then they go through several processes before the orders of the court could be carried out.
Should tenants be worried about this judgment?
Well, Kojo, tenants should, it's not a straightforward question because the judgment of the Supreme Court says that this is not supposed to open the floodgate for attempts to recover possession and trigger demolition orders by several people. So, when the matter arises like that, demolish the structures of others. The Supreme Court again says that persons, the court says, shall, however, atone attainment to the relevant tool of family as per the decision reached in the judgment, should not be dispossessed of their wherever they stay. And so that is what the Supreme Court has said.
That's sort of an assurance there. My colleague Samuel Imbra has been to some of the communities affected by the judgment. He's been speaking with some of the residents.
Surprised. I'm really surprised that someone will come and say to me, say, maybe leave here, we are going to do this or that here. I will be really surprised to hear such things. Because I have lived here for almost about 30 years or so. I came here in 1985. So, and I've been in the house for a long time. So when it happens that someone comes and say, leave here, we are coming to take the place, it will always worry me. because right now I'm sick. I don't have money. If there's a place to rent a place, I don't have money to rent that place. So I'm really, really worried. Yeah.
So it will affect me more. So I would like to follow the process that my property doesn't take from me. So if I hear that there, I'll follow the process and then pay anything way I can pay, so that my property not take from me.
You've been living on your property for a very long time. Is this the first time you are hearing this? Is it a surprise?
Well, that put an end to all misery in the world. However, death can also leave families devastated in debt. My colleague Caleb Mensah has been speaking with funeral industry players who complain that it is no longer affordable to bury the dead. Well, it's hard to live. We're also told it's hard to die. So you know what? Hang in there. The 4-1 plays on Monday. Well, so welcome back. Time for us to do showbiz, and you know what? Jackie is here with in all her glory. Hi, Jackie. How are you doing?
I'm good, Kujo. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good. What do we have today?
Well, ahead of the Christmas festivities, an agenda to promote Ghanaian music has been launched. The initiative is spearheaded by the Creative Arts Agency in collaboration with the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry and some stakeholders in the music industry. The hashtag Play Ghana initiative aims to promote Ghanaian music across the country ahead of the Christmas Dirty December activities.
We are pledging to push Ghanaian music to the forefront for our audiences, starting at home. The Creative Arts Agency will collaborate with the stakeholders and players of the music industry and film and broadcasting to review our local content regulations. Both the cultural policy and the broadcasting bill must be amended and enforced. Our Nigerian cousins have implemented 70% local content law within music, film and broadcasting. Ghana must do the same. The Christmas season is upon us, a time where our creative community shines. Travellers visit our golden shores, sampling all the best that Ghana has to produce. Our diasporan brothers and sisters return home with braided hair, kente outfits, hand-carved wooden masks, adinkra symbol jewellery, oil painting of market scenes and Ghana sunsets. But Ghana music is left behind. This month's festivities for Dirty December, we need our artists pushed to the forefront.
Some Ghanaian artists who were present at the program also added their voice to the call.
Some are kind and you know what's really beautiful about all of this is it doesn't just apply to the music. It applies to everything. The creatives, just Ghana. Jamaica is a small island. They are so popular, people wear Jamaican t-shirts with the Jamaican flag on it.
We've always been advocating the fact that we need to hear more of our own music when we are in our own
Play Ghana music this December. Now, Guinness World Record has accepted one-year-old Ghanaian artist Ace Liam's application to attempt and break a record, and Liam has commenced a journey attempting to break the record as the youngest male artist at 1 year old. His record-breaking exhibition is expected to kickstart tomorrow, December 15th.
Many Ghanaians are poised to set and break world records from the highly anticipated singathon. A one-year-old Ghanaian called Ace Liam will attempt to set a new world record as the youngest male artist in the world as his application has been accepted. The current world record for the youngest male artist is held by Dante Lamp, who achieved this feat at the age of 3 in 2003. Ace Liam's mother says her son has been painting since he was 6 months old.
All the behind the scenes are there. Every single painting. So far, he's done 12 paintings, including this 13. So all the behind the scenes will be there. Okay. From 6 months up until now.
6 months old. That was when he started painting.
His bigger works are when he was younger. The more he grows, I think I'm able to accommodate him on a smaller canvas. But when he was younger, it's more like body movements and spreading the paint. So the canvas size are as big as the floor. Exactly.
Ace's mother has been explaining how this competition will pan out.
So when it comes to his category, as I said, they provide you with certain rules based on the record you are breaking. So with his rules, he has to be, to qualify him as the youngest artist, he needs to be in an exhibition and make sales. And then the receipts of the sales and everything will be sent to them. They've sent us the criteria to provide the evidence after the exhibition has been done. So with his, he's not going to do a live painting. It doesn't require that. But when you're submitting the evidence, there's a slot where you have to show media coverage, his social media handles, so that when they go there, they'll see how he creates the paintings and all of that. So yes, he's supposed to participate in an exhibition and sell the works. If he doesn't sell the work, he's not qualifying for that record.
Fingers crossed to see whether Liam can ace this. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansoma Yeboah.
Well, Kojo, the exhibition is expected to kickstart tomorrow.
The exhibition?
Yes.
We all have to be there to support this young kid.
At the Museum of Science and Technology. It starts at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh.
Yeah.
We should even have time from there.
Yeah, we could have that.
I'm looking for problems with my producer.
All right, now, Throwback Thursday. Earlier, Reggie Rockstone was talking about the fact that we should promote Ghana music. Now, 25 years ago, Reggie has been providing beats and inspiration for many Ghanaian club hits. And today, we are here to celebrate. Yeah, Kojo, what do you want for Christmas?
Peace.
Peace. Okay, all right. Now, officially, Singathon, Joy Prime, is the official media house for the Singathon Challenge, which is happening on 24th to 27th December. So we'll be giving exclusive coverage on YouTube, Facebook, that's the Joy Prime social media pages. Yeah, so our viewers should expect all that.
Okay, all right, then all the best to her. We'll be there to ensure that that's done. The kids were singing, these sort of Christmas songs.
Yeah, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Well, on that note, we thank you so much for being a part of us tonight. There's more news on myjoyonline.com, and we begin wishing you all the best this Christmas. Up next is Prime Business with Pius Kojo Baka. Good evening.